This is the sleepy border between the Republic of Ireland, a member of the European Union, and Northern Ireland, part of the United Kingdom, which is preparing to leave the EU. It's sleepy now, but for how long? Northern Ireland will be the region most affected by Brexit. This part of the UK is now peaceful and relatively prosperous, but will it stay like this? Border communities on both sides of the border are protesting against Brexit. The external border of the European Union will run through here in 2 years' time. People living on both sides of the border are against tough border checks. I've been asking locals why. In 2019, the map of the European Union will change as the outer limits of the bloc divide the island of Ireland, with Northern Ireland on one side and Ireland on the other. We're in Clones, a border village in the south. The Troubles hit hard on both sides. 3 decades of violence and economic hardship only ended in 1998. Thousands were killed. Checkpoints made border crossing difficult. Donald MacDonald had to give up his family business, a textiles shop.
More than 50 businesses have been closed. I would not want to see us return to the type of place, the type of area where this sense of hope and trust and relationships are being damaged by a political decision of protectionism by the United Kingdom.
During the Troubles, this bridge was closed by the British 76 times. Locals removed the barriers again and again. Today, the authorities are preparing to establish truck checkpoints near here, leaving locals worried.
The hard border of a hard Brexit could become a reality here around.
A nightmare scenario. I heard recently of an official from the Department of Finance who oversees the customs in the Republic of Ireland looking at potential sites in this area for such a facility and land that might become available for such.
What would happen in case a hard infrastructure would build here around?
I feel that people would react in a way that would not be good for either the Good Friday Agreement, for the people or for the island as a whole.
You mean violence could not be excluded?
Civil unrest would be the way it would start, and unfortunately that can never be ruled out in a scenario like this.
Let's move to the northern side of the border. During the Troubles, the unemployment rate was at 30%. Today it's down to 3%. Connor Patterson, who works for the Chamber of Commerce, hands out advice to the Brexit-troubled business community. He shows us the remains of a derelict truck checkpoint. Will the UK succeed in getting a free trade agreement, including a soft border regime? Or will the Brexit negotiations falter and border tariffs and tough transport controls be introduced?
Well, in a no-deal outcome, this is the sort of infrastructure that would be required. And this area has a history of violent challenge to the border, to it as a barrier to free movement of goods and people. And we have enough problems in Europe with radical young people. We don't need another problem of radicalisation. The risk is that dissident forces will radicalise people in the community, especially young, impressionable people, and they may be attracted to an ideology that would promote violent challenge to all of this. We don't want to go there. It's too big a threat.
While the Catholic Sinn Féin party is against Brexit and wants the reunification of the whole of Ireland, British North and Irish South, the Protestant DUP party is pro-Brexit and wants Northern Ireland to stay with the United Kingdom. With its economic advantages, EU membership has clearly helped calm the sectarian tension. So will Brexit stir up trouble?
I think we are talking about scaremongering, and Sinn Féin really don't care whether or not, as a result of their scaremongering, they actually do create real physical trouble on the ground. The only risk to the peace process is the kind of hysteria which Sinn Féin are trying to generate at the moment for short-term political gain. And they really ought to consider what the impact of that is on their own communities and on the hard men in their own communities who will seek any excuse to go back to a terrorist campaign.
So how can this worst-case scenario be avoided? How can the tension and the hard border be avoided?
One of the intelligent solutions is to use electronic surveillance of trade across the border using vehicle recognition number. You don't need border posts, you don't need to stop people, and of course you would back that up with the occasional physical checks if you felt that that was needed.
No watchtower overshadows the border here at Newry anymore, and the military infrastructure has been taken down. The European Union has poured a lot of money into the region, co-financing economic initiatives and industrial areas, including this business. Connor Patterson tries to reassure the manager of this wheelchair company not to move, but he's not convinced.
Our main concern here is going to be our location. We're here just on the UK side of the border, and we have to put plans, we have already put plans into place in case we need to move to the southern sides of the border.
Don't move yet. You know, we are lobbying for people like you to be given special designated status based on where they're located and the fact that you need continued free movement of your goods across the two jurisdictions.
That needs to take into account on whether the border is going to be a hard border or a soft border. We're crossing the border 17, 20 times a day. And so time-wise, cost-wise, another major concern.
It's agriculture and the food industry that might suffer the most from Brexit. Before the Brexit vote, this dairy company invested €45 million into a new plant in Northern Ireland, producing milk powder for Africa and the Middle East, benefiting from current EU trade agreements. Will the UK be able to strike similar deals? The company has 1,000 suppliers and 3 production sites, north and south.
If this becomes the international frontier, and if there is not a free trade agreement on food and agriculture between the EU and the United Kingdom, well, this material, this milk for instance, will be subjected to WTO tariffs, which will be of the order of 50% of the value of the actual product, which will kill off all of this trading.
Let's end up in Rostrevor, a tiny Northern Ireland coastal village close to the border. On Wednesdays, local singer-songwriter Matthew McGrath performs at Crawford's Bar. Rostrevor residents agree to discuss Brexit, among them 30-year-old Sinn Féin member Michael Gray-Sloan, who fears that Northern Ireland will suffer most from Brexit.
I think Brexit is a disaster, economically, politically, socially. I think nobody knows what's ahead of us, and the fact that English votes have dragged us out of the European Union against our will is, if not criminal, it's completely insane.
I'm hoping we'll get a soft, very soft Brexit.
Theresa May's vision of this hard Brexit, it's not going to be sustainable anymore. She's too weak politically to bring it through.
Feeling part of Europe and being European is important to people here.
If we have a hard Brexit and we have a border, we're going back. The peace process will totally be undone. It's a nightmare. It doesn't bear thinking about. It really doesn't bear thinking about.
It's a song called So Much Love. Why does it take so much hate to create so much love?